OTB Spreads Prediction Show coming to you live on May 12th, 2026. MLB Best Bets, guys. We had the Rays yesterday. They cashed us. We had the Mariners yesterday. Cashed us. Couple other spots. Cashed a little pitcher parlay. But, hey, man, we're back on it today. Home runs have been light. We had Julio Rodriguez, but the other guys couldn't come through in the clutch. We needed Aaron Judge. He wasn't able to do it. Look, guys, home runs were light yesterday. If you would have taken some no home run parlays, you probably might have cashed. Look, I'm not going to have that on today's slate, but what I will go over is today's money line leans, run line leans, and under totals for each game. I won't give you the under totals except where I see them actually being active. But let's get into it, man. Without further ado, if you like or want my premium plays, just go ahead to the descriptions tab, click on the Winible link. I will have all of my premium plays that you can purchase there. And then obviously this is Blowout Alert, which you're looking at. It's the best data and analytics app in the business. You can see, pardon me. Just got done with lunch. I guess a little bit of it is coming back on me here, guys. But hey, Chase DeLauder, right? You can see that he's batting almost nearly 300 this year. You can see that he's got 6 home runs on the season. You can look at Mike Trout, got 11 home runs on the season, batting 248. So kind of get an idea where these guys stand. Look at the pitching matchups, kind of having an idea, what handedness this pitcher is. Kikuchi hasn't been great this year, hasn't been terrible, but you can see that he's a lefty here. And honestly, the Guardians haven't been terrible against lefties, so I don't think there's a huge advantage. They're 0-3 with Kikuchi on the mound. He's not their best pitcher. He doesn't have he has a little bit of strikeouts, 33. It's more than I thought he did, honestly. ERA 5.8. That's the concerning thing. But Slate hasn't been great himself with a 6.15 ERA. He's a righty. We know that the Angels hit righties fairly well. I thought Urias was going to be the pitcher today on the mound, and it looks like they're going to go with Kikuchi. Let me just double check FanDuel, guys, because like I said earlier when I was going through the lines and I was looking at everything, they had a different pitcher on the mound for the Angels. Yeah, it looks like Urias still logged in with FanDuel, but it's saying Kikuchi here on the app. I'm going to have to side with Vegas on this one and think it's Urias. I don't think Vegas is going to be wrong on this one. Make sure I have the right date here set. Yeah, it's just today's matchups. So yeah, guys, if it was Kikuchi, I probably would go Guardians here, but in this case, since it's Urias, I think he's the better pitcher here in this matchup. He's got a lower ERA. He's been more solid. I think there's bigger bats in the Los Angeles lineup than the Guardians, even though the Guardians have been hitting the ball really well, been playing competitive. This is a playoff team from last year, guys. You got to remember that. They got Manzardo in the lineup, DeLauder, Kwan, Jose Ramirez. They got guys, Shimmerman. They can drive in the ball, right? So with that said, I think this will be a close game, competitive game. I kind of lean towards the under on this one, under 8.5 total runs. But I'm going to pick a side here for you guys. I like the Angels on the money line. Give me the Angels here, plus money, plus 116. Like I've said before, in MLB, it's one of the most profitable sports because, look, if you're at minus 110, you have to, if you take only 110 bets, you only have to win at a 54% win rate to be profitable. In baseball, you get a lot of plus money lines like this where you can win at a 48% rate. And you hit this here, you hit the Giants yesterday, which we were on, the Rays plus money yesterday. You get a couple of those per week. You're now in the range where you can afford to only hit at a 48% rate and still be profitable. So that's why I believe MLB is the most profitable sport when it comes to playing straight bets, money lines, and spreads. There's only about a 10% line where the winning team only wins by 1 run. So even the run lines in MLB, if you get those right, they tend to be very active and not needed. Typically, like last night with the Giants, I recommended the run line at minus 130 plus 1.5. But at the same time, if you were to take that money line at like plus 230, I think it was, you would have cleaned up, right? You would have given yourself an extra, almost free bet at today. So that's my point, guys. You take the run lines when you find an edge because typically the winning team is going to win by more than 1 run. It's only about a 10% per slate. Only 10% of the teams win by 1 run or more. We saw that yesterday in the Angels game, or not the Angels game, the Orioles in Yankees game. It was a 3-2 win by the Orioles. They hit a home run in the 7th to take the lead. It was a 3-run home run. It was 2-0 most of the game. But guys, I'm going to go Angels here, and I'll take the under total as well, 8.5. That's my lean on this one here for the Angels and Guardians. All right, brings us to the next one, man. Yankees Orioles. I had the Yankees yesterday in a parlay, and they sold the parlay. The parlay was a 7 leg, and it would have cashed. It had Yankees, and it had the Thunder minus 2.5 in the first quarter. Obviously, the Lakers were up 6 after the first quarter, and the Yankees lost in the seventh after that 3-run bomb. Outside of that, we hit everything else inside that parlay, from the Guardians' first 5 innings, the Rays money line, the under total 7.5 for the Wild, and who was the Avalanche game last night. So we were hitting on a lot of those plays that we put out yesterday. I would have liked to. We had the Cavs minus 3.5 in that as well. So I would have liked to see these Yankees get the win. They played good ball. The bats just went quiet on them in the back half of the game, and the Orioles found a way to win it. All right, but with today, guys, Will Warren on the mound. Orioles rolling out Trevor Rogers. I like Will Warren here to keep this thing kind of quiet. The bats to wake up today. We know how big hitting this lineup is with Judge, with Gresham. Gresham hasn't played well this year, but he has the tendency to go hit the long ball. And I think he's very active today, right? Like Trevor Rogers is a lefty, and we haven't seen struggles. You know, early in the season, the Yankees looked like they were struggling to hit lefties. They've turned a corner. That hasn't been the case. I don't think Trevor Rogers is an elite pitcher. So I think the Yankees can get to him today. Cody Bellinger, Jazz Chisholm, Jason Dominguez, Austin Wells, Ryan McMahon, all these guys, I think they can get to him. I don't know if Ben Rice is going to be in the lineup. I think he should be. But if Ben Rice plays, it's even another bigger bat. You know, he's right up there with Judge when it comes to being able to hit home runs and hit the long ball. I like the Yankees here, minus 142 on the money line. Even minus 1.5 is worth a look, like we just talked about. Only 10% of the games typically per day hit where this is an actual value, where it's actually in play. So out of all of today's matchups, we've got what? I think it's a 14-game slate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's a full slate, 15-game slate. Thought it was 14. But look, so that means that only about probably 2 games are going to have the run line really relative to the score. We saw yesterday it was relative. I don't believe it's relative today. I feel comfortable taking the Yankees minus 1.5, plus 108, plus money. I like Will Warren, like I said, to keep things quiet and the bats to drive in some runs. I think this is a very active game, and I like the Yankees here, man. If I was to take a lean on the over here, maybe. Depends on the Orioles. I don't trust the Orioles bats. They haven't been alive all season. So I'm just going to go with Yankees minus 1.5 here, plus 108. All right, on to the next one, guys. Rockies, Pirates. And once again, guys, I don't bet every single one of these games. These are, once again, just my leans and where I am going on things. Sometimes if you want my premium plays to know exactly where I'm putting my money, just go over to the Winible link, click the Winible tab, use code word EDGE, and lock in. All right? Rockies, Pirates. Rockies' highest strikeout rate in the MLB. They're going up against Skeens, and Skeens has dominated this team. But look, it's minus 300. There's not a lot of value in this game, honestly. The other day, we took him for minus 127 and cashed. And that was great value. And I've talked about this before on the show. When you get a pitcher who has a great line like minus 130, like you get a Skeens line at minus 150 or less, you take it. I don't care who the matchup is. It's Paul fucking Skeens. You take Paul Skeens whenever you get a line under minus 150 with Paul Skeens. That's not the case today at minus 300. The Colorado Rockies can hit the ball sometimes with Jordan Beck, Hunter Goodman, Mickey Moniak. You know, they got some bats in that lineup that can drive in runs. I don't see that being the case today. The only play that I see would be the minus 1.5. And they don't have a great pitcher on the mound today with the Rockies, right? The Rockies, they've got, let me just double check it. I think it's Lorenzen, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lorenzen is on the mound, pretty much a 6.92 ERA, 7 flat ERA almost. He's 2-4 on their starts. Like, he just hasn't been good. I'm going to have to go with the minus 1.5 here as well at minus 128. Paul Skeens to have a big game strikeout-wise. I think he gets 8 strikeouts. Take him for 8. A lot of value there with Paul Skeens on one of the highest strikeout rate teams in the league. So give me a minus 1.5 at minus 128 on the Pirates. Keep it moving up into the Nationals game where we have Mikolas and Brady Singer. Both have been way below average this year, as you can look at the ERAs here, man. But I like the bats in this Washington lineup, like James Wood, Luis Garcia, Brady House, C.J. Abrams, This kid here, Dalen Lilly's been playing great fucking baseball. Batting 250 on the season, 3 home runs, but he's got great hits, man. 40 hits on the season. Look, this guy has been really playing some good ball. And I like the Nationals here in this spot against Brady Singer. They're playing in a hitter-friendly ballpark. I think what is it? The American Ballpark, Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, always more active for home runs. I think the bigger bats are in the Washington Nationals lineup. I want the Washington Nationals on the money line, plus money here, guys. Give me plus 122 on the Nationals. I'll keep it moving, and we'll roll on into the Phillies Red Sox game, where we're gonna get Zach Wheeler on the mound. Doesn't look like we have a pitcher going yet. From what I saw, it was going to be Bejo. Bejo hasn't had his best stuff this year either, and he's gettable, right? Like I think that Bejo's a very gettable pitcher for these big Philly bats. You know, from Harper to Schwarber to Adolis Garcia to Trey Turner, all these guys, you know, Stott, Brandon Marsh, all these big bats in the Phillies lineup, I think can get to Bejo. He doesn't have that great of strikeout stuff. So if you're going to give me a minus 146 line, you know, right around 75% return for the Phillies with Zach Wheeler on the bump, I'm going to have to go with the Phillies on the money line here. I don't really want any part, and they still haven't decided. Even on FanDuel, you're not even seeing that Bejo is the guy. Red Sox just haven't really had good pitching stuff this year. I mean, even Tolly, who's been one of their better pitchers, hasn't really delivered on a game-to-game basis. The bats haven't been there. It looks like Contreras is going to be out this game. He's hurt. So I'm going to have to go with the Phillies here, minus 146 on the money line. I know they haven't been sharp this year. They don't look like the elite playoff World Series contender like, you know, we thought they'd be this year. That window's starting to close on them, guys. So if you're a Phillies fan, I hate to say it, they better get fucking with it, because if not, they're going to miss the playoffs and their window is shut. So I will just leave it at that, minus 146. Give me the Phillies. And give Kyle Schwarber a look for a home run. You got to, right? Guy's a beast. We got the Tampa Bay Rays, Toronto Blue Jays. You got Patrick Corbin on the mound for the Blue Jays. You got Shane McClanahan for the Rays. He's been playing great fucking ball. 34 Ks. Corbin doesn't have strikeout stuff. These Rays, they already don't strike out a lot. One of the least strikeout teams in the MLB. And I think that the bats can get to him. You know, we had a conversation on my live yesterday with a couple ballers, and they're like talking about this game. Do you like the under? And I said, well, you know, I don't have any money on the under, but what I do like is the Rays bats versus Gossman. I think yesterday it was very clear. Who had the advantage? Was it Gossman's pitching going to step up and shut down the Rays, or was it going to be the Rays bats, right? Like that's what it was, bats versus pitching. And you know, who's on the Rasmussen, I think, was on the mound yesterday for the Rays, and he's a decent pitcher. He's good enough to get you a couple good innings, get you 4, maybe even 5. And if the bats wake up at all, the Rays can pull out some early lead, and that's exactly what happened. And that under, I think it was right around, I think the game finished 5-3. No, I think actually the Rays scored 7. So the under didn't hit. I would have leaned towards the under because I thought that Gossman may have been able to keep him a little bit more quiet. But then again, we didn't have money on it. Once again, that was just a lean. But in this case today, I will be putting a little bit of money on the Rays at minus 116 on the money line. Earlier today, this opened up right around minus 110, kind of even 50-50 pick'em game for each. I like the Rays here, minus 116. I think this is a reaction line a little bit from yesterday. I don't trust the bats for the Blue Jays, and I definitely don't, trust Patrick Corbin to get you a good start here. So give me the Rays here on the money line at minus 116. We'll keep it moving, guys. And maybe for a home run or some props, we'll go over here and take a quick look at what they got. Got a lot of neutral props today, but I do like Arenado for a hit, guys. So if you want to take Arenado for a hit, he's been hitting the ball really well this year, as you can see. Batting right around 268. He's got 37 hits on the season. He's right up there with that Dylan Lilly kid that I was telling you guys about. So been hitting the ball well, putting it in play. These bats have been alive. So give me the Rays today against the Blue Jays. All right, Tigers versus Mets. You got Flaherty and Peralta on the bump. Flaherty hasn't had his best stuff this year. Peralta's been a little bit better, but his strikeout stuff really hasn't been there. I mean, Peralta at this point in the season, we typically see him over 50 Ks. This is a good pitching matchup, honestly. And Soto, Bichette, a couple of these other guys match up really well. MJ Melendez, they match up really well with Flaherty. You could convince me to go either way on this game here, but I really like the Tigers offense and the way the Tigers offense has been looking as of late. I can't fade, Flaherty being a significantly worse pitcher than Peralta. I think that Peralta has some regression concerns. His ERA is going to go up. Flaherty got off to a slow start. He's 0-3 in their 3 starts. I think this is a bounce back spot for Flaherty. We're going to see better stuff today. They're in a pitcher-friendly ballpark. Not a lot of home runs get hit in Mets Stadium. Citibank is what I believe it's called, right? Give me the Tigers here to sneak out a win. I think this will be a close game. I do think that the run line, this could be one of the 10% plays here today where the run line is active and alive. I would recommend giving a look at the Tigers plus 1.5. All right, that's my take on this one. We'll go on into the Cubs and the Braves. You got Colin Rea on the mound versus, I believe, Holmes. Yep, Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes has been good this year. Colin Rea doesn't have great strikeout stuff, man. So Braves, some of the best bats in the league. I can't fade the Braves here. They're one of the top teams in the league. I don't believe they've lost a series yet. So back home in Truist Ballpark, give me the Braves here on the money line. I like them a lot here in this spot. So I know there's a little bit of value at minus 122 and plus 104 on the Cubs. The Cubs bats have been super active. They've been ripping off of wins, but so have the Braves, man. This should be a great ball game. This could be another one where the run line is alive and active. As you can see, they've got the Cubs at minus 1.5 at plus 168. I don't think that this game is a blowout on either side. I think it'll be close. So stick to the money line on whatever side you want to take. I'm going Braves here, minus 122. All right, into the next game. This is a tough game to handicap because you've got Fedde, man, and Fedde isn't known for having this type of ERA at 3.79 at this point in the season. He doesn't have strikeout stuff, and he's playing some really good hitters, man. From Caglione to Jansen, Salvador Perez, Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, Miguel Garcia. But you got some big hitters over here, man. Like Bentenetti, Murakami, Vargas, Colson Montgomery. All these boys can go yard, like all of them, every single one. And Murakami, man, look at this guy on the season. 15 home runs, batting 232, got 33 hits. Like, he's playing some fucking ball. Obviously you got Bobby Witt, 49 hits. How solid is Bobby Witt? Batting over 300. That's a Hall of Famer right there, man, if you ask me. Bobby Witt, one of the best players in MLB, backed up by a couple other really good hitters in that lineup. This is, like I said, a hard one to handicap for the simple fact that I think there's value on the White Sox at plus money. I think this will be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised to see the run line active here and the White Sox plus 1.5 being active and alive. But I can't fade the way the Kansas City Royals bats have been active lately. Like, this team wasn't a good team, and just a month ago I would have said, man, they're one of the worst hitting teams in the MLB. And all of a sudden the bats are alive, they're awake, they're scoring runs, they're driving in runs, they're playing small ball. I got to go with the Kansas City Royals here, man, on the money line at minus 124. Give me the Kansas City Royals, and we'll keep it moving into the next game where we have the Miami Marlins and the Twins in favorable hitting conditions today out there at Target Field. Look, Yuri Perez, Bailey Ober, both decent pitchers, not elite pitchers. Yuri Perez has the better strikeout stuff. But the Twins have been hitting the ball pretty well. I can't deny them that. I can't say that they haven't. I may lean on the over in this game, guys. I think the over in this game is definitely active for an overplay. Nine runs is the over-under. It's minus 105. I think that we see a score somewhere around like 6-8 to finish this thing out. I think the over is definitely alive and well. Give me the Miami Marlins. I know they don't play as well on the road as they do at home in Lone Depot, but give me the Marlins here, minus 102. Yuri Perez to get, a respectable start here, get you a good solid 5 innings. Give me the Miami Marlins on the money line, minus 102, and we'll keep it moving into the Padres and the Brewers. Padres looked like Waldron was going to be the starter. They switched it up to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, they're 0-2. He's got a lower ERA, but he doesn't have the strikeout stuff. But Sprout does. Sprout's got strikeout stuff. He's given up some early runs. He's given up some sharp contact. I don't love the fact that he's given up sharp contact against such good bats in the Padres lineup. But the Padres haven't been as good on the road. They just haven't. And I think if it's a close game, we all know that the Padres have one of the best bullpens in the league. We know that they've got, the man himself, Mason Miller, that can get any save, any win he wants down the stretch, whether it's in the 8th or the 9th. And Mason Miller's a dog. So with that said, man, I just can't get over the fact that the bullpen has such an advantage here to the Brewers. when I woke up this morning, I told myself, man, I think I kind of want to take the Brewers. But then there's that starting pitching matchup with Rodriguez. I felt a little bit more comfortable if Waldron was on the bump, but I know his ERA has been through the fucking roof. Maybe that's the pivot to Rodriguez. And I'm going to give Rodriguez a chance here, guys. At plus money, with the bats in the lineup with the Padres, I'm going to give Rodriguez a chance to prove me wrong or prove me right. I woke up, said to myself, I think Brewers is the play in this matchup. And if you look at the line and the way it's moved a little bit, you can kind of tell that Vegas is protecting themselves a little bit with this minus 126 and truly a 50-50 game. This could go either way. It's a coin flip. I'm going to rely on the deeper bullpen in a close game and the better bats for San Diego to wake up and get and drive in some runs. So give me San Diego Padres here on the money line at plus money at plus 108, and we'll keep it on moving to the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, where I believe they've got Gore going for the Rangers tonight. Yeah, Mackenzie Gore versus Zach Gallen. None of these pitchers have been that great this year. Zach Gallen does not have strikeout stuff. Gore does. We were on the Diamondbacks yesterday. They got just like they squeaked it out. It was not a good game at all. Makes me question, are their bats going to wake up today, or are they going to be, are these bats here for the Rangers going to be able to get to Zach Gallen? Zach Gallen relies a lot on his infield and his outfield to make plays. I just don't know, man. This Rangers team, they can put the ball in play. That's my thing. And Zach Gallen being a righty, and not having great strikeout stuff, I'm concerned, honestly. I'm concerned taking the Diamondbacks. I would love to take the Diamondbacks here. I really would. I like their lineup. I think that they hit the ball well. But I just can't get over the fact that Gallen just doesn't have strikeout stuff. And I don't think that this Texas Rangers team, if you don't have good strikeout stuff, you're not going to get through this lineup. They've got some really good hitters in the lineup with Corey Seager, Brandon Nimmo. Even though Corey Seager's not, been hitting the ball that well, he's only got 28 hits on the season. He's kind of in a slump. But even outside of Corey Seager, you got Evan Carter, Josh Jung, Josh Smith. You got Danny Jan. I don't know if Danny Jansen's still on that team. I've got to double check that. For some reason, yeah, he is. He's on the Rangers. For some reason, I was thinking he was on the Royals, but he's on the Rangers. But yeah, they've got some decent bats in this lineup, man. It's not my favorite play of the day. I probably won't bet it. But if I had to pick a side, I'd lean towards the Rangers here with Mackenzie Gore with his strikeout stuff against the Diamondbacks for the Rangers. So, all right, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's keep it moving. We're almost through with this big slate today, 15-game slate. We've got a couple games left, 3 more. Mariners, Astros. Look, you got Brian Wu on the mound, man, versus Astros team. They just struggle to drive in runs. They rely on home runs from Alvarez and Walker. I've said it again and again. We haven't seen the same type of energy from Cam Smith this year and hitting from Cam Smith that we saw last year. Even Carlos Correa hasn't been as sharp. Decent, respectable, 34, batting 279. But for my standards with Correa, I expect him to just be one of the top hitters in the league. And there's a lot of games where he just hasn't been. And you can kind of take a look at it, hitless in the last 2. I do like him for a hit today, but he is going up against Wu, so that is a concern. And then he ripped off these couple games here. He's been decent. Can't deny that from him. I just think that, they need him to drive in more runs, That's the problem, is even with these guys hitting the ball so well, they're just not driving in the runs. It's like if Alvarez or Walker's not putting the ball out of the park, it's these guys are striking out and they're getting the pitchers out of the jam. I like the bats a little bit more going up against, I believe, how do I say his name? It's not Weiss. Weiss isn't going today. They got the other guy going, the Asian dude. Give me the Mariners. I'm not going to water this down any longer. Give me the Mariners on the money line, minus 168. It's not a sexy play, but that's the odds Vegas gave us, and that's where we're going to go. Mariners, minus 168. All right. Cardinals, A's, playing it in the A's stadium. We know that's a hitter-friendly ballpark. I think the A's win this thing. The Cardinals haven't been good against lefties. They're going up against Springs. And with that said, let me just change that real quick so we can just show you that Springs is a lefty here. They got Kurtz in the lineup, Langeliers, 2 big bats. So they're going up against Springs, who's a lefty. He's got a 3.89 ERA. I think there's regression concerns here for him. Palentine's been playing his ass off, man. He's actually done really well. He's not known for strikeout stuff, but he's got 29 Ks on the season. And he relies as well, kind of like a Gallen, on a lot of ground ball stuff, a lot of infield saves. You don't want that with this A's lineup. With Jacob Wilson, Kurtz, Tyler Sodomstrom, Langeliers, Lawrence Butler, they've got a deep hitting lineup that can really drive in some runs. So if you're relying on your infield and your outfield to make plays every single inning, and you don't have great strikeout stuff, I think that the A's are very much alive here on the run line at -1.5, as well as the money line. You decide where you want to go with that one, but that's my take here. Take the A's on either side. I think they win this thing by 3 to 4 runs. Give me the A's. All right, last game of the night, we were on the Giants +1.5 at -130 yesterday. Wish I'd have taken them on the money line, but we didn't. Should have. They've now beat the Dodgers 4 games in a row this season. They swept them in San Francisco. Now they're out in LA, and they just beat them again. I think that these guys are juiced up, man. Freddie Freeman is a major look today for a home run, 2 total bases. He's had great success against Hauser. Hauser has a terrible ERA. They're facing the ace for the pitching rotation in Yamamoto. There's no value there at the Dodgers, through -310 on the money line. You got to go with the -146 half run or 1.5 runs. So that's my take on it. That's where I would go. I'd go the -1.5 with the Dodgers, driving some runs. Freddie Freeman for 2 total bases today. Those are some plays that I like out of this game. I would also lean a little bit towards the Dodgers over run line. I think the books have it set at right around 4.5. So I would take the over on Dodgers 4.5 as well. But those are my plays right there, guys. Some looks, some leans, and what I think and where I would go. I think another under total you could look at for today may be the White Sox and the Royals. But once again, I'm not 100% sold on any of the unders. We'll see if I take any of them. I think my favorite under of the day may be the Angels matchup. I think that those 2 pitchers out there, and neither of these teams have been hitting the ball all that well recently, especially the Angels, which is surprising because they've got some really good hitters in that lineup. But give me the Dodgers here -1.5. Freddie Freeman for 2 total bases, and maybe even a home run. So that's where we're at. That's the show, guys. If you found the information useful, please go ahead and drop a like. Make sure to subscribe. If you want my premium plays, in the description tab, use the Winible link. If you want to download Blowout Alert, it's completely free. You can always upgrade to Elite and unlock everything from NBA to first basket scores to quarter scores. You can take a look at the streak board, see who's playing tonight that's on the streak board. It's all these guys. You got Champagne with PRA hitting at a high rate. He's 6 games in a row over 15.5. He's been rebounding the ball really well. You just want to take a peek at that real quick, guys, and see what this is all about. Look, 5 rebounds, 8 points. He would miss the line if we were going off the last game. But all the games before that, he would have missed the line here as well. I like the way he's been playing. I think it's definitely worth a look. I would just go ahead and take the X15 if I was you guys, instead of letting you play the catch point at 15.5. But that's my look, guys. That's this. This is Blowout Alert. NCAA basketball is not in anymore, but we had that going. Now we've got MLB active, and NBA going to be active for the rest of the season. We'll have soccer and NFL coming in the next couple months. We're going to be hoping for soccer by the end of the summer when EPL gears back up again, and then NFL obviously in September when that gears up again. So Blowout Alert, highly recommend you download it. It's some of the best data analytics in the business. That's pretty much it. All of those links are in the descriptions tab. Make sure to drop a like. And let me know in the comments if you have a favorite play or on my side or against my side today. You can fade, you can tail, do what you want, guys. But that's where we're at. That's today's show. Book the one way. See you next time. Let's get it.